Share. Kita berhenti hari tu muka surat (47) Oh, is it 75? Sorry. Yeah, I think so. Okay, so sorry, kita berhenti 74 kayaknya. This one is share. Oh, I gave you a homework kan? Can you dia buka a new one kan? Can you give me the sentence? Yang I bagi untuk buat subcategorization tu.
I ate an apple.
Huh?
I ate an apple.
An apple? I an apple, tu je.
Yes, doctor.
So then we have to determine like how many words do we have to give subcategorization features. So we break it into there's I. Then it. Okay, an apple. So I ate an apple. So then you have to write what is the subcat feature for I. And then subcat feature for 8. And subcat feature for an apple. So basically, anyone attempted? Anyone try to draw? So if you do an I, it would be it will be a first person nominative singular.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna do
And it's neutral, right, doctor?
I. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Category. N. Sorry. N. Then subcat. Sorry. And then case. And then agreement feature. So category plus D, right?
Yes.
So then we say subcat. That is plus D. Then case and the agreement, the agenda, person. So gender is ataupun you can because actually the person who will speak will have a gender, so we can say
Oh, the plus minus you said.
plus
Lah.
minus.
Okay.
You can say plus.
Doctor, the screen is frozen, I think. Oh, it's not.
It's not,
Oh. But I think you're only sharing screen yang Microsoft Teams saja, I think. That's why we're only seeing Microsoft Teams.
Meaning what?
Are you typing the
Yes.
notation elsewhere?
I'm typing on the PowerPoint.
Oh, because we can't see anything. Well, I can't see anything.
Well, the only thing we see is the the third slide. Try to draw categorization. That's just one. We don't really see how you do the notation.
Probably. Tapi before I did draw on the PowerPoint and you saw, okay?
Yeah, last week we did see it.
Because it's the original.
Wait, doctor, do you put your PowerPoint on the presenter mode or what?
Where do I do that?
Do you do it when after you click a presentation mode, right? Or is it?
No, this is orang kata apa? Person. Person is one. Person first. Tak ada, yang ni I actually buka a new one kan. So I think I have to go out. I have to buka balik this one. Can you see now?
Yes.
Okay, so this is what. So then kita guna the insert, kita nak get the brackets, would be shapes, square brackets. Kita kata category case kat sini. Square bracket. Sini. Then inner square bracket. Inner square bracket. Another inner square bracket. Oh, sorry. Other one. This one. So it's something like this. So meaning, what we're doing is that for each of the lexical item, for each of the word, we will come up with a subcategorization feature for the word. So maknanya, if we have three words, that means 3 subcat for each of the word. Okay, so like that. Any question about that?
No, doctor.
It's quite straightforward, kan?
Yeah.
It's just that when you want to do it on your own, you might be not sure lah. So then we do 8. This one we refer to the verb, which was just before we ended the lecture last time, transitivity. The transitivity is about page 70 until 74. So these are talking about verbs, and we know that eat is a transitive verb because you must have an object. So we must specify the argument of the verb, right? And in the sentence just now, I ate an apple, kan? So we presume that an apple is the internal argument because it's next to the verb. So we sort of say, okay, the verb and the object noun phrase is considered one constituent, and an argument which appears in that domain is an internal argument. So if there is another, if there are 2 arguments, both of them are internal arguments. I say put, kan? I put the book on the table. So the book is one argument, on the table is another argument. So when I do put, I will actually specify that it requires 2 arguments. And so when we talk about verbs, we have to know that their behavior. So so if you look at the 70 to 74, 75, how do you represent the verb? So then you say it's a verb, and then subcat is you specify its argument. Right, so okay, so I would say category, verb, and then subcat. It does have an external, so it does have an external, and the external is always a DP, a determiner phrase, and then it has an internal. So in this sense, one object, so we just say it's a DP. That's then we do the square brackets. Okay. Here we would have to say, do we have to say the tense? tense. See where we put the tense, because it is in past tense. There is okay, tense is past. So we say SEM, semantic. Say tense. I actually will not there is like one chapter of chapter 10 and some other chapter which talks about auxiliary uh, modal auxiliary tenses and all, but because we are doing Malay, so I'm not going to go there. It's a bit complicated, as we know, English, so I'm just going to make it simple because I think all of us is anyone doing English for their language sample? Is anyone doing English for their language sample?
The child speak in English?
Ah.
Oh, no. Sorry.
Anyone doing any group doing English speaking child? Or just Malay?
We did Malay, doctor.
Malay.
Anyone? Malay, eh? So no no English. Okay. So basically it's
Doctor,
like
my group do English.
who?
Hillary's group do English.
Oh, Hillary. So you would have tenses and all, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Do you have a copy? Your group does your group have a copy of the textbook? Of the syntax Kani book?
Oops, sorry.
I thought that some people had the book because when we were showing the tree, some of us did DP, although I have not said DP, so I presume that some people have the textbook. Anyone has a textbook in the class? Tak ada.
Found the textbook online.
Online? Online kat mana?
Google.
You got a PDF?
Yes.
Yes, we found the PDF.
No, what? Why didn't tell me? Because I don't have to take pictures, you see? Kan? But I still need it, yeah. But can you give me the link? Then I don't have to take pictures. I just go through the.
Actually, you just can found it on LibGen.
What is that link?
LibGen, LIBGEN.
LIBGN, one word, eh?
Yes, it's actually where you can find some books. I don't know, in the legal sense, or I don't know.
The pirate sense, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Yeah, so if I have a PDF, I can show it very clearly. I don't have to take blur pictures, eh?
Wait.
Okay, so but actually it's not very difficult. Katakan Hillary's group, if you have the book, they will tell you, okay, tenses, these are the tenses, and then they show you. Kani is very simple in that sense. He's step by step, so he shows you step by step how to represent tense, modal auxiliary in the subcat. Okay, so all right, so then we can continue with an apple. So first of all, an apple, what's the difference between an apple and the apple? I mean, just like from your understanding. I ate the apple. I ate an apple. Is there a difference in meaning?
Yes, there is.
There is?
I think so.
I don't think there is.
Yang cakap, I don't think there is. You think it's the apple and an apple is the same lah.
Yeah.
Meaning, in terms of meaning, ada beza makna tak?
Macam tak ada.
Macam tak ada.
I think there
ada.
is a difference, Doctor.
What's the difference?
The apple, it means that the apple is indicated, while an apple is the apple which is not specific which apple it is.
Repeat. The apple?
The apple, it means that the apple that somebody eat, it is already indicated. While when it comes to an apple, it means that the apple is not fixed.
So the apple has a definite meaning. As you say, indicated just now, it means definite. We use the word definite. For nouns, determinant phrases, we use definite or indefinite. So like the apple is a definite. It has the meaning of definite, and an apple is indefinite. So kalau we use definite as a feature, then we will say for the, we will put plus definite, and then for an we use indefinite. Okay. So for this an apple, it is indefinite, and an is a determiner because it happens, it occurs before the noun. So n is a determiner. So we have to look at how we then have to refer to our book on determiner phrase or nouns. How do we do subcat of nouns? Yeah. So this is determiner phrase. Category. Sorry. Now. We have to do apple first. Let's do apple first. Because we usually always go from right to left. So we say we're going to do apple first. So what is apple? So apple is a proper noun. Sorry, it's a common noun. Common noun ni maksudnya dia merujuk kepada kata nama apa saja benda tu kan. So noun, and then kita ada subcat. Subcat dia kalau apple ni count lah kan, kita boleh count. So kita kata plus count. Okay. count, and then must say what else? What are the subcat feature for nouns? I think animacy is not an issue here. I think that's it lah kot. So we would actually insert
Doctor, so animacy is apa? Not macam mana? We can just not put it there.
if it's not in question, if it's not focus, not in focus, it's not the focus, sorry. If it's not the focus, then we don't have to put lah.
Okay.
So like that. And then we have to do the DP, So what is N? N is a DP. So category.
Doctor, for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
apple,
Yeah.
do we need to put the singular? EGR.
Agreement, yeah. Yes.
Agree.
Yeah, we do have to. So that one we have to put agreement lah sini. Sure. For so then it would be number lah kot ya. Nah. Apa lagi?
Sini je.
I think that's it. Any question?
Doctor,
Uh-huh.
I was just wondering if the animacy is not on focus, but we still want to put it. Does it consider as wrong?
Not wrong. Not wrong. You can put. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor.
Like that. Are you understanding what we're doing? Setakat ni faham tak?
Faham.
Faham, Doctor.
So you are keeping up with the reading, Nanti it gets a bit. You have to go to another slide. I think after.
Ada semua orang pergi service account kat office. Ada tiba-tiba kau naik. Dia takut kami. Dia mana?
Just ignore. Kata tak ada.
Ada orang buka.
I'm sorry, my husband. Yesterday we were doing the interview for new students for the coming October new session. Me, Dr. Sushil and Puan Munira. And so it's a new normal that and it's real normal, yeah, to have the children coming in when she's doing the interview.
Was
Cause,
it done online?
yeah, online,
Oh.
but real time lah.
Mm.
We didn't want a recorded one. We tried 1 year recorded, but recorded is like they're just rehearsing. So
Oh.
we wanted to see how well they answer on the spot, kan?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got very good results, people, you know, but probably they'll go to medic or pharmacy.
How many students went for the interview, doctor?
100 something.
100
Wow.
for this course?
Yeah, it's becoming popular.
Wow.
Thanks to very well and dedicated lecturers.
Oh, you're so nice. I think some of us are doing video, like some of your seniors are doing video, you know. I think the 4th year, they're doing some educational video. Nampak tak?
Oh, the promoting one, is it?
One of them is Awin. They talk
Our
about.
batch was in it too, doctor.
Oh, really?
Uh-uh.
So those kinds of things, give awareness to the public lah about
That's good.
speech science. Not much. So mm, so it's a determiner. And then I'm trying to look for determiner. I can't find it. But I guess it could be class T. Now class T is for the nouns. But you see, they need to talk. The category for subcat for N, a determiner, they need to talk to Apple. And then there must be some common feature that they have that make them want to merge, you know. That's what we're going to do after this, merge. So I think so N is that subcat. What is the subcat for? It's indefinite good. Or is that the agreement? No, I'm not sure. Sorry, nanti I check. So then we say agree. Then we have plus agree. What would it be? Plus definite. No, indefinite. So I minus. Set shapes. Okay, so it's like this. Okay, so basically, I ate an apple. We break down it into constituents, and then we try to come up with the subcategorization of the each of the constituent. So this is I, and this is apple. Sorry, 8. And this is apple, and this is. I think the apple should go up. So N and then apple. So I think after I wanted to show you 77. No, maybe we stop at 74 kan hari tu. Meaning I go back here and then I stop sharing and then I share. I share desktop first. Desktop. Trying to share the desktop actually, tapi it always goes to the minimum. If I share this, then I want to go to the desktop. Here. Where is it?
Doctor, it did show the desktop.
Can you repeat?
It did show the desktop.
Yeah, this slow. So now I think I have to stop sharing. Okay. Tapi dia macam diminish. Where did it go? Here. Are you seeing the desktop?
No.
Stop sharing. I actually want to go this one. Go to. Are you seeing the?
We see the
We
file.
are seeing the file.
Okay, the file, the document file kan? It would be linguistic. Linguistic ya. Nak pergi kat gambar. Yeah. Now I want to go here, I guess. Oh, not this one. Could be here actually. Yang ada letak paging. Tak apa. Can you look at your page 75?
Doctor, do you want us to forward you the PDF?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Email So on page 75, they give you an exercise where there is the verb. Okay, so we want to learn today about how to differentiate between transitive, like arrive, and intransitive like arrive, and intransitive like rub and kiss. Because we need to be familiar with how to do the verbs. Okay, so then we look at question 3, which has the which email are you sending the thing to, Umo?
This rogaya@ukm.edu.my. Is that the correct one?
Yeah.
I've just sent it.
Yeah, so we look at question number 3, which is arrive. And then they give us a few examples of the verb arrive, can? So 3A has I arrived, and that's grammatical. And then the D is to the store arrive, not grammatical. This means that you can have I arrive, but you cannot have the to the store arrive. So I is a DP, but to the store is a PP. So a PP cannot happen in the subject position. That's why it's ungrammatical. Okay. And then E, that Kelvin sang arrive, also not grammatical. So that Kelvin sang is a CP. It's a CP. So pun tak boleh, not grammatical. So that means the subject position, you cannot have the PP, you cannot have the CP. Okay, then we go to F. Page 75. You go to F, I arrive the package. So D and E shows us that only a DP, so far, only a DP can appear in the subject position. That's why A is grammatical, D and E is not grammatical. So a PP and a CP cannot be in that subject position. So that's settled, understand that. Okay, F. F is I arrived. I arrived the package, not grammatical. So meaning, I arrived tadi was grammatical. What is problematic is the DP. The DP cannot happen after the verb because it's a intransitive, kan? So intransitive verb doesn't have a determiner phrase object there. So it's ungrammatical. Okay, then we go next to G. 75. I already have the PDF open. Okay. So I'm going to share. Sharing, I share. Can you see? Can you see now?
Yes,
Alright.
yes.
So this is the page 75. So we noted just now that we cannot have the determiner phrase after the verb. And then G, I arrived that Calvin sang, also cannot. Okay. So this is just saying that a verb, arrive, which is intransitive, it will not have the DP, which is the F thing. It will not have the DP after it. It will not have a CP after it. What can happen with it actually is just an adjunct. Adjunct means I arrived yesterday. Yesterday is an adverb. So it's an optional adjunct. Then you can have the adverbial phrase after the verb, and you can have a prepositional phrase after the verb. Okay. So if we were to, what is the function of all these ungrammatical sentences? It teaches us the behavior of arrive. Because after some time, when you are doing your own, you might want to play around with, can I put the DP after this? Can I put a CP in the subject position? So these are the things that the syntactician will do when they first analyze this language. Let's say they go into hutan negeri Perak and meet some Jahai group of tribe orang asli kan. So they are figuring out orang asli punya kata kerja. So this is what they do. They will actually ask the informer, can you say this? Can you have the noun phrase after the verb? And then he will give some example lah, like some example, and then the informer will say, can, boleh. So by playing around with it, you actually characterize the verb. So now we go to Q4, which is rub. So we notice that I rub is ungrammatical. However, for B, I rub the genie slam is grammatical. So this shows, A and B shows that rub is a transitive verb. It must have the determiner phrase. If it doesn't have the determiner phrase like A, it will be ungrammatical, and therefore the asterisk. So the DP, the genie slam, is a very essential component that forms the primary meaning of the verb, the core meaning of the verb. That means if I say I rub, the meaning is incomplete. I must say I rub something. So I rub the lamp. Yeah. So B shows that YA is ungrammatical. Okay, then I rub to the genie. I rub to the genie is ungrammatical, meaning that you cannot have the prepositional phrase right after the verb. Yeah? And then D, I rub that Calvin sang. You also cannot have a CP right after the verb. Okay, so I must say I rub the genie's lamp for mother. Let's say I rub the genie's lamp for mother. So if you have the genie's lamp, then you can have something else with it, because the rest are all because the meaning of rub includes the determiner phrase, and anything after that is all optional. You can put, but you must have the complete meaning first. So you cannot have a PP after the verb, you cannot have the CP after the verb. CP complement phrase, because Calvin sang is a sentence, and then that is a complement that happens before the sentence, so it's called a complement phrase. Okay, so we from this A to D, we conclude that QA is a transitive verb. So it must have the determiner phrase first, after the verb, and then can follow by any other element, or even just stop there is okay because the meaning is already complete. Now we see kiss. I kissed the policeman. Same, like rub, whereby you need to have the who did you kiss? So I kissed the policeman. So must have the DP. Same, you cannot have the PP. Same, and D, you cannot have the CP. And somehow E, the store kissed the policeman. Somehow the store cannot function like I, subject. The store cannot function like she. The store cannot function like John. Why? Because the store is not animate, kan? So this is 5E is saying that if you have kiss, the subject must be animate because it must have the ability to kiss. It must have the ability to, or have a desire to kiss. Kan? Kalau batang elektrik tak boleh, kalau kerusi tak boleh, because they cannot. So the store here says that the subject has to be animate. Kiss the policeman. Okay. I kiss the stone. Perfectly fine. Maknanya I is an animate, but the object can either be animate or inanimate. It can be a person, it can be a cat, animate. It can be a stone, inanimate. Yeah. So I kiss the stone is fine. I kiss water also fine. Macam 68. I'm on page 75. Right. Okay. And then to me, kiss the policeman, not grammatical. Reinforcing the fact that you must have an animate subject. That Kelvin sang, kiss the policeman, also not grammatical. Okay. Dia kata sini ignore the sentence we kiss. Boleh pula ke sini kan? Without the object. That this is a different thing. Okay. So that means a conclusion. A transitive verb must have for an active sentence. The subject usually will be the animate noun, and then the object can either be an animate or a inanimate noun. Okay, then we see kill. I kill, because kill in a transitive way. I kill cannot. I kill the policeman, yes. I killed to the policeman, no. So kill, PP and CP cannot happen after kill. The stone killed the policeman. This is interesting because it is contrary to what I told you just now. Because now apparently the inanimate object is now in the subject position. But the sentence is okay. The stone killed the policeman. But it has a different meaning lah. Maknanya someone pick up the stone and threw the stone at the policeman. The stone killed the policeman. So it is not direct like that. It's indirectly. Two things need to happen before. One thing needs to happen before that. Someone pick up the stone and then the stone is used to kill. So kat sini macam the stone killed the policeman is like a instrument. Okay, I killed the stone, cannot. I killed water, cannot. To me, killed the policeman, cannot. CP also cannot. Alright. Why is it that we have to do this? This going through the sentences is because we want to know the behavior of the verbs. This is how we determine the behavior. So ask is also transitive. I ask the question. I ask if you knew the answer. This is a different kind of verb which takes on a complement phrase. It can take on a DP, but it can also take a CP. It is a CP because you knew the answer is a sentence, and then if is a complement. Okay. So what about the stone ask the question? Cannot. To me ask the question? Cannot. That Kelvin sent the question? Cannot. So apparently ask needs to have an animate noun, and then it can take a DP and a CP. What about think? I thought the answer. Okay. I thought that you knew the answer. Okay, it's just like ask. And then also think needs a animate subject. Send. Send is ditransitive. Ditransitive because it has two arguments. So I sent Daniel the story. So two arguments. One argument is DP, Daniel, and the other one is DP, the story. I cannot say I sent Daniel that the exam was cancelled. So CP cannot. I sent the story to Daniel. Can. I sent the story to Daniel. So apa ni? Send ni, it can take a DP as their argument. And because it's in one horizontal, in one linear position, so we will actually have the DP side by side. If you look at page 74, they have the DP. They have where at 74 tu kan. Like this one. They have DP kan. So DP like for just now. Apa tadi? Oh, send. For send, then you can have it like this. Two DPs, one after the other. Okay. Go to 77. Okay. DP boleh. DP CP tak boleh. DP boleh. So kalau ada DP jadi, kita macam tadi lah. Kita akan letak dia linearly one after the other. DP. I sent to Daniel the story. Not grammatical. That means if you were to do prepositional, you must have the DP first. I sent the story to Daniel. You cannot have you cannot have PP first. I sent to Daniel the story. Not happening. So that means there is a kind of order for the argument that kena berlaku DP dulu baru PP. I sent that the exam was cancelled, Daniel. Also CP cannot. I sent the story, Daniel cannot also. Okay, and then we have spray. Okay, the transitive, I think transitive is the same. Like send tadi kan. So if you want to, just go through this sample sentences and get your judgment there. Okay, so then they give you the answers too. So based on the sentences that you saw on page 75 for arrive, this is the subcat for the verb arrive. Okay, so it will reflect the behavior of the verb. It is a verb. Subcat there is, it has an external DP. And this is because this is a intransitive verb. So you want to match this figure of subcategorization to number 3 on page 75. So this is the answer for it lah. Okay, then rub. Rub, you notice we said just now that rub is transitive. Transitive, and then it only accepts the DP after the verb. Okay, so rub will give you that lah. Rub is a verb, and then internally only DP, and then externally I, a DP, and the DP has to be animate. Okay, and then kiss. Kiss we refer to still page 75, question 5. So you notice that it is a verb. I kiss the policeman, then I kiss the policeman. It has a internal policeman DP, and then it external is a animate, so DP animate. Notice that internal DP, it doesn't say animate or not because it's open. You can kiss the stone, you can kiss John, you can kiss the bougainvillea. So dia anything. So with anything, you don't have to say, it is assumed it can take on any DP. Okay, and then kill example. Okay, let's look at then ask just now. So ask, which is question 7. Ask, you notice that there's a different so you can say I ask the question and I ask if you know the answer kan. Kalau kita tengok question 7 page 76. So the subcategorization of the internal argument reflects this. Meaning you can ask a DP the question, or you can ask if you knew I ask if you knew the answer. So also can take a CP. So in this instance, we do a curly bracket. You remember last time I said curly bracket? So this is the curly bracket that you can take from the symbol, shape. And then you put them, you stack them like this. Basically, this means that this internal argument can either, it reads like this, the internal argument can either be a determiner phrase, or it can be a CP. So that's how it's read lah. Tadi kalau dia DP macam kita tengok what was it just now yang can take ask for example. No, not ask. Is it right? Rub. I rub the genius lamp. That is a DP. No, maybe kiss kot. I kiss the policeman. I kiss the stone. I kiss water. Tadi yang ada dua, I sand maybe. If you look at sand, if you look at sand, it has a different one kan, dia DP, tapi dia horizontal. So when it's horizontal, that means it's two argument occurring right after one another. That means these are both required. Required. This is a ditransitive required. Because yang dia curly kat sini, ada juga curly bracket kat sini. So the curly bracket indicates that you can choose either one. So you can either take a DP-PP or you can take a DP-DP. So curly bracket always shows option to take any one. Okay. Okay, so then we have kalau macam ni either one lah. Alright. Think. And then send. So if you look at the question 9 on page 77, it will give you the various it will give you external DP, which must be an animate, I send Daniel the story, which is a DP. And then I send the story to Daniel. I send the story to Daniel will be the DPPP. It would also be reasonable to assume that the external DP must be plus animate. Okay, and then you have spray. You look at the example sentence, which is Q10 for spray, and it comes out like that. And then tell. Well, tell is a bit complex. Look at number 11, question 11, tell. I told Daniel the story. I told Daniel the story. So internally, I told Daniel the story. You can have a DP. So DP kat tengah ni, DP. And then I told Daniel that the exam was cancelled, which is 11B. I told Daniel that the exam is cancelled. So you can have DP Daniel and then CP that the exam was cancelled. So dia akan ada DP-CP. I told the story to Daniel, which is DP story and then PP to Daniel. So tell is a bit complex in terms of flexible, quite flamboyant. Dia boleh ambil 3 jenis internal argument depending on the sentences lah. All this subcategorization thing is based on the context, of the sentence. Okay. And then I think we can move. I don't want to do the auxiliaries and stuff. Hillary's gang, when you're doing this, your assignment, if you have any problem, you email me or email me with your question and I'll answer. WhatsApp me. Then there's a chapter on constituency. Any question on the verbs? Ada soalan tak? I think the difficulty will be when you want to think of the context. That means you have to come up with your own sentence. Kalau bahasa Melayu, bahasa Inggeris, you kena main-main dari segi apa yang boleh, apa yang tak boleh, apa yang grammatical, apa yang tak gramatis. There's a chapter 11 constituency that you can read. It has the test for constituency, very short one, but I think we sort of know this, but do read unit 11 for revision. Okay, now we go to unit 12, which is merge complement. This is so much easier having the PDF. Okay, merge. So actually, what we have done so far is saying that every word has its features. It was said that every word has its bundle of features. So imagine this is actually bundle of features, isn't it? So now we're going into C merge, and C merge is basically complement. C is complement. C merge complements, complement merge. So we're going to talk about complement merge and then see how it's constrained by the feature structures of the participating words and the principle of full interpretation. Learn about phonologically null categories. So we did say, I tested you on the quiz, that a formal, explanatory and descriptive grammar must provide a hypothesis for describing the observed phenomenon of constituency. There are many theories because the development of the theory. So they have what is called X-bar theory, which right now not very important lah. So this system is based on the interaction of feature structures. Feature structures is the subcategorization structures a constraint that ensures that only appropriate material is joined together in constituents, and a rule called complement merge or C-merge. So we're going to look at the complement merge. It's not a very, it's just I like you, you like me, we merge, just like that, you know. So complement merge, the assumption is that the head of a constituent is the element that subcategorizes for the other elements in a constituent. Alright, so complement merge, C-merge, combine two or more items together. At least it has to have two items for them to merge, but it can have more. Combining two or more. So now we are talking about movement already, things moving and combining. So combining two or more items together into a constituent as required by the internal features of one of the items. You remember just now we had for verbs we have internal again. Internal argument. So the internal argument will require something to happen with it. Okay. The constituent is given the label of the head, typically followed by a phrase to indicate that the final constituent is a phrase. So for example, these cats. So these cats, you will have two words, isn't it? These and cats. So you want to then define what is, give subcategorization of these and cats. Okay, so then they combine. Then you combine them, it becomes a DP. You take cat and you take this and you combine them. Okay, so this is just showing complement merge, but actually more a bit more is happening there, but we'll see later. So this principle is used, principle of full interpretation, FI, preliminary version. If two items are merged together, their feature structures must be compatible, and this is called this is referred to as a constraint. If two people merge together, they must be compatible. Kalau dia tak compatible, dia tak merge lah. Okay, so assume that the feature structure for a determiner like this looks like this. So this is the feature structure for determiner. So we have this is a category of determiner D, and then you have a subcat, which subcats for internal is an N. So we are saying that D has an internal, these have an internal feature which requires a noun. And the noun will have subcat plus count and an agreement feature number plus plural. Okay, so number plus plural. So this bit is important. This one, it shows that the element satisfying the internal feature of the word this must meet this criteria, must meet these various requirements. So you have this and this. This is the bunch of features that these require of his companion. Okay, so kita nak kahwin, nak berkawan, companion. So we say that this is a determiner. It is plural. Tadilah, it requires the word be followed by a count noun, indicated by the internal feature. So actually explaining this one. Okay, imagine the word we want to follow the determiner followed by cats. So a partial feature of cats, so we have to draw cats pula punya subcategorization. So this is the subcategorization of cats. It is a noun plus count and the agreement feature dia plural. So these features are a match for the internal specification in one. So you notice that these features of cats N, dia ngam pula with this count, number, plural. So determiner the determiner internal spec wants some lexical item which has this feature. And then cats do meet that requirement. Ada feature tu. Okay. Go to the next one. Since we have a match, because their features match. Apa yang dia match tu? Let's see, apa yang dia match? I guess dia match. Apa yang dia match? Dia match a noun. Yes, ada kategori noun. And then plus count. Sini ada, so dia matching. Agreement dia, number and plural. Agreement, number and plural. Exact match. So boleh lah. Boleh bergabung. Can merge. And that's why we have 3 where we merge them. And then this structure of number 3 is license. License ni macam approval. It's like approval. So this process of merging is licensed by a principle which is called full interpretation. Henceforth FI. Because cats meets the internal requirement of this. Because cats is an N, it is count, and it is plural. Okay, then we look at exercise 1. In your own words, explain why DPs in 4 are unacceptable. So then we have this cat, that cats. Why is it ungrammatical? Someone wanna have a guess? Aside from Umu selalu jawab, which is good, but I need to listen to other people. Siapa? Let me listen to Tang. Tang, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
So why is it 4A and 4B? Explain to me.
4B is like obvious wrong, unacceptable because that only can refer to a singular, but it used to refer to that cat, which that is a singular, but cat is a plural.
Yes.
And this is for plural and cat is singular, so they kind of like make it the ballet already.
It doesn't match.
Yeah.
And then 4A?
Yeah, 4 is the opposite lah. This is used to refer to plural, but cat is singular.
So this is an example where the merge will not happen. So let's say if we draw, we already draw this and then we draw cat. And then we take this, like 4A, we take this and then the singular cat and then we merge. Then the FI will say, oh, stop, not allowed. Then you say, why? They like each other, they want to marry. And then FI will say, no, it's not allowed because they don't match. Not in sync. Sometimes that happens, isn't it? They think they like each other, but they don't. They're not compatible. So, so that's happening. That's what's happening. Any question about that? It's quite actually sebenarnya. I like using Kani, although I don't know lah. Some people might comment later. It's a 2010 book, which means it's 10 years of age. Which is like kalau kita write a paper 2020, not older than 2015 lah. All the references that we use has to be 2015 onwards in order to write a paper in 2020 kan. So some might actually comment the lecturer is using an outdated book. It's already 2010. It's a book 2010, which is 10 years old. So I want to explain to you that I don't know. I think Kani has a knack of explaining things, and what he's describing to us actually is very complex. If you were to read another book, which is like a theory of a book using this theory, and you read it, it's hard to understand. You have to read and learn about it lah kan. Tapi to me Kani is so canny in the sense that he describes it in a very natural, very step-by-step way. So yeah, so I think what he's saying is quite complex actually. Okay, we proceed. Expressing compliments.
Can you explain a little bit again the external and the internal? I kind of get confused by that. I saw there's like the internal requirement and also I think external requirement.
Yes. No. Good question, Tang. In a DP, in a determiner phrase, what the assumption here is that the determiner is the head, the head of the constituent. So we have these cats. Kani is saying the head of the constituent is this determiner. So when we do this will have some specification. D, because the determiner, because it's a head, it would have the ability to specify, to have some characteristic of what items that they, or what word can happen with them. You know, they have that power. So in this instance, when they do the internal, you might before this, what we saw was internal was that we have a verb and it has its argument, external argument and internal argument. Okay, but in this instance, internal is used a bit different. Macam tadi, verb tadi, we always saw internal, external is used in terms of within the VP, internal. Outside the VP is external. So it's just like location, more in terms of location. But in this use of internal, it's more of what is the requirement of the head. What is the requirement of the head? So I understand why you're confused, because we use the internal for the verb just now. It's different from the internal of the head. Yeah. So this.
The BP that you mentioned just now, the internal argument and the external argument, the BP, what is it means by the BP?
A verb phrase.
Oh, a verb phrase. Oh, okay, okay. Okay, okay.
Yeah?
BP.
Sorry.
Okay.
Verb will have a verb phrase.
Okay, okay.
Right.
Thank you, doctor.
Welcome. Good question. I'm sure the rest also wonder, but don't know how to ask. Sometimes we are like that. We don't know, but we don't know how to ask. So as I told you, it's quite complex. So macam when he started, Kani, for this chapter, he just said, so he just said, okay, this system is based on the interaction of feature structures. Dia cakap ni macam big words. Sebenarnya what we have been doing the past 2 lectures is feature structure. We list down what are the features, the characteristic of each of the words that we are analysing kan. So this system is based on the interaction of feature structures, which is a constraint that ensures only appropriate material is joined together in constituent. Alright. And then they straight go into complement, merge. So this is the definition lah, Tang. The head of a constituent is the element that subcategorizes for the other elements in a constituent. And this is the internal tadi, the requirement tadi. The requirement for the internal is specified under the definition of a head. That a head can choose which element can happen by its subcategorizing the features. And then they merge. Kalau ngam, okay, matching, they merge. Tapi sebenarnya this simple step is actually, inside it is this one. So when we draw our tree, no, not yet tree, but when we draw our subcategorization of these and the noun, we will specify the features, and then we will show that they are matching. Okay, and then we merge. Then we merge this in like number 3 kan. Okay. We go on to expressing complements. Complement the word or phrase that is C merged with the head as required by the head's internal feature. Okay. It's just that word that satisfy the subcategorization of the internal of the determiner tu is the complement. With these cats, the word this is the head and the word cats is a complement because it is selected for by the internal feature of this. This is just him summarizing. In each of the following sentences, there is an underlined word. Assume that this is the head of a phrase. Circle these words that are the complement of the head. So you have the cat eat the tuna. The cat ate the tuna. The cat ate the tuna. John went to the store. Which of these is the head? Which underline is the head? So obviously the cat, the is the head. The cat here is also the head for tuna. This is the DP in the object position kan. And then this is also the head. Sebenarnya, a verb is also a head. And then to the store. To is also the head for preposition phrase. So maknanya determiner phrase, verb phrase, prepositional phrase, they all have the central element which is the head. So in the DP, the determiner is the head. In the VP, the verb is the head. In the prepositional phrase, the preposition is the head. Okay. Apa ni? This one, the verbs is a bit complex because it has more than one argument. The verbs in the following sentences have slightly more complex internal features. Identify the complements to the verb in each of the phrases in the sentences. Some words may have more than one complement. So, Kelvin gave the tuna to Panggul. So, the verb is the head. What is the complement of the verb? The tuna to Panggul. So gave has two argument, have two complement. Can also say have two complement. One is the DP, the tuna, and the other one is to Panggul is also a complement. What about F? Kelvin gave Panggul the tuna. Same thing. And it's grammatical. Grammatical means boleh lah. So you can either do a DP-PP or a DP-DP. So give me the other two option, right? And if you look back into transitivity section 8, unit 8, you if you not quite understand, you can read that again. I think we've discussed it at length just now about the argument to internal, external tu kan. Okay, I put the book in the box. So what is the complement? The book is a complement and in the box is complement. I think that Kelvin eats the tuna. This is a bit tricky, because can we say that? I think that, full stop? No. Can I say I think that Kelvin? No. I'm incomplete kan? So you must have I think that Kelvin likes tuna. Maknanya think requires a CP. The whole thing. Because if you just say I think that, so think takes on a C, that is a C kan? That is a C. Cannot, because it's not complete. You have to say I think that the whole sentence. Kelvin likes tuna. So that means think is a verb which takes a CP. So in your subcat nanti, you will reflect that. So dia kata, so then ultimately what we're doing is that notice that because more than one thing can appear in the value of an internal feature. For example, the value of an internal feature for put is dp/pp. We can have more than one complement. Yes. For our purposes, this means that we have a tree structure such as this. So this is the tree structure that we can do. Alright, so I put the tuna in the dish. So then dia kata, let's break this apart into smaller steps. So usually we take the most the most right. So we take the DP. So let's break this apart into smaller steps. We'll start on the right, at the bottom with the dish. So then we have to deal with the dish. So then we have to say, okay, it's a DP. What's the head? The head is a D. So the D, masa kita buat subcat for D, kita akan specify things that the D needs of the N, kan? So the requires an N due to its internal feature. We merge them together and put a label. So this is C merge lah. We merge. So why do we do 7? Because D is a determiner. It requires a CP. It requires a complement, which is a noun. Alright. So then the noun is a complement to the D. Okay. N is a complement to the D. And then DP is the complement to the P. DP is a complement to the P here. You remember, this is prepositional phrase, kan? So prepositional phrase. In, preposition, in is the head. And then in will say, what do I require? So they akan specify a DP. And this is and then we'll have subcat for DP. And it matches with what P wants. So internally, dalam DP, N is required by the D. So N is the complement to the D. N is complement to the D. And then DP, this whole DP is complement to the P. Yeah. So this is what. A bit more, a little bit more. So now forming a separate constituent, we C merge the D with the N tuna. Finally, the verb put requires a DP and a PP. So we take in the trees in 8. So basically it's merging. So kita dapatlah these three actually. We get the DP and then PP in the dish. Okay, so I think basically we actually look back at the transitivity just now, and then we talk about the C merge and the full interpretation. But the full interpretation, as we saw, dia kata apa? It's in the making. So there'll be more, the constraint, the principle will actually be more specific after this. Okay, so I think let's try and do a sentence. Why don't you make up your own sentence? You must have a complete sentence, and then you have a subject, verb, object, ataupun subject, verb. Subject, verb, object is the transitive, and then subject, verb is the intransitive, and then maybe you have SVOO, dua object, dative, like put, I put the book on the table, dua object kan. So you make up your own ni, and then we look at it next time lah. Next time when we meet. So I end it today. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for actually told me there's a book, you know, so I don't have to photostat. Sorry, I don't have to take pictures. It's very good that we have this. So now I know today there is a LibGen that has a collection of what do you call? Ebook. Ebook. Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for your time.
Thank you, Doctor.
Let's see. Siapa? Thanks, yeah.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
I'm gonna stop recording.